Hi guys, welcome to my first episode of Technofish News. Going to be a bit of a news bulletin stroke podcast that I'm going to start doing. Eventually I might start bringing in guests and things like that to have a bit of chat with. But in the meantime, here's the first one, and let me know what you think of it in your comments below. So first up, we have the Mario movie. Apparently, it's been released on April the 5th, and it's due to make over $700 million already. It's only been a couple of weeks, and that's really impressive, to be fair. Unfortunately, the reports state it's mostly kid-orientated, and there's no real depth or mature themes, like most of the Pixar-type stuff, which you would expect, which is a bit of a shame, although there are plenty of throwbacks to the Mario series and all the different games, all the different outfits, all the way through from like Mario itself to Mario Kart to Mario Party, Mario Golf, etc., etc. There's plenty of things in there to keep you occupied and keep you spotting for a while. It'll be interesting to see if and when the sequel arrives and what that's all about. So yeah, that's the Mario movie. Looking really good. Next up we have Valorant, and there's been a few things revealed around Valorant, one of which is the return of Bind as a map. There's been a lot of changes. It's going to start on April the 25th, so about a week or so, once the new act starts. As you can see, there's a few changes going on. They've moved the teleporter and widened the door into baths there, just to keep people guessing there. So that teleporter is not there anymore, and they've changed the boxes a bit as well, so there's not as much cover, so it's all quite open now. A lot of the changes have been made to make it a lot more open. As you can see here, there's not as much space to hide in the corner, and the doors are wider. Again, that door's wider. They've put a little box in the corner next to the raised bit in your sight. This wall bit's been moved completely, so it's all pretty much flat now, so you can't hide around the corner like we used to. They've changed the boxes in the middle to even it out a bit, so there's a bit of a sniping perch and things like that going on there. Same on B site, they've moved the door and widened it a bit, and they've put a window or two in the window at the side there, so you can chuck grenades and your abilities through either onto site or off site if there's people coming around the back there. As I said, that will take place from April the 25th. So you mentioned the launch of Premier. So Premier's the online competitive, where you take a team online, join a ladder, you play so many matches, and if you get through, you play in the finals in the tournament. It sounds quite interesting. I'm hoping to get a team together for that, so if anybody's interested, I think it's open to all ranks. So I'm looking for someone iron bronze. If you feel like joining, let us know and we'll get a squad together and we'll have a look at that and see what that's all about. As well as that, there was also black market skin bundle. So basically, this is a bunch of skins based around what we assume are the Counter-Strike guns. The classics are a Glock, the Bulldogs are FAMAS, the Vandal is an AK if you're attacking, I believe, and an M4 if you're defending, and the Marshall looks vaguely like a car of some sort. There's no real make given on that one, but to me it looks a bit like a car. So that's also out now. That'll run from, I'm assuming, the next week or so until the next pack comes out, which we're not sure what that is as yet, to be honest. It could be worth looking at. The next bit of news, again, is another game I've been trying to play, but I've been having a lot of issues with, is X-Defiant. It's in beta at the minute. The beta is running from the 13th to the 23rd of April. While you're playing it, you can access and unlock 10 items, which you can carry forward once you start playing properly. It very much seems like COD gameplay on Overwatch. So from what I saw of it, there's like the Overwatch objectives where you either march a tank thing through the map or you've got to take certain areas and hold them. There is another one where it's called Ringleader. One guy is the ringleader and holds like sonic rings. That's what they look like. And you've got to try and hold on to them as long as you can to gain more points. If you get shot, obviously they scatter around like Sonic and other people can pick them up and become the ringleader. So yeah, as I said, the gameplay itself seems pretty quick and pretty slick. It seems a lot like COD, like it used to be, and from what I gather, a lot of the community are saying exactly the same. They said as what COD should have been, but obviously mixed in with the Overwatch objective gameplay there. So as I said, that's running now until the 23rd of April. I'll be looking to try and give it another try because I've struggled to get into it physically in the game itself. It either times is out or won't load properly or whatever, and I think I've managed to have one quick game in the time I've tried. But hopefully it's a bit more settled now. It has been updating in the meantime, so I am looking to give that another go as and when that comes around. Do that. And these are the unlocks you can unlock in X-Defiant if you play. So there's different skins and things you can unlock just for playing, and you can use them once the game itself physically launches. The other game I want to talk about, which has caused a lot of controversy and a lot of issues, is Dark and Darker. If you haven't seen Dark and Darker, it's basically a Dungeons and Dragons meets Tarkov looter shooter escape type game. So basically you go in as a wizard, a rogue, a warrior, kit out and all your gear. It's basically swords and sorcery, bows, crossbows, swords, pikes, and you go in and take on various enemies, skeletons and goblins and things like that. You've got to run around the dungeons, find loot, and get out of the magic portal as and when you can, and then sell the loot to merchants in the taverns and things like that in the outside game. I've not really tried it. I did try and download it, but as I said, there's been a lot of controversy around this. There's an ongoing court case between Nexon and Iron Mace, who are the developers of this. Some of Nexon's staff sort of left, formed Iron Mace and started creating this. And there's a DMCA lawsuit going on over some of the game mechanics and properties, as well as a possible concern that the staff that left Nexon have broken a non-compete clause. So that's ongoing in the meantime, which has caused a lot of problems for the developers. They haven't been able to sell the product as such. They've had to remove it from Steam. They've had to remove it from other areas. So the only real way that you can actually access this game now is through their Discord and via torrents, which is a bit of a faff on, to be honest. When I was looking to do it, basically Discord have also said they've broken terms and conditions by advertising torrents in their Discord. So what they've had to do is they put a link in the Discord. So you copy this, which is just gobbledygook, go onto this website here, paste in the gobbledygook there, and then when you decode it, it becomes a magnet link for a torrent, which you then have to put into a torrent program and download it from the multi-sharing side of things with regards to that. So it's all a bit strange, to be honest, how they're doing it. But because of the issues they're having in the meantime, they haven't really got a choice, but they're still trying to push the development. At the minute, the play test that's running at the minute started on the 14th of April. It's due to end on the 20th. They have announced that it is going to end on the 20th. They're not going to extend it. There's been a lot of issues with the playtest itself with regards to the actual quality of the gameplay, which they've been trying to fix again through patches, which you have to go through those other methods to download. So you have to download the code to go into the other website to then get the torrent address to download the actual torrent and get the data to update the game. So it's all a bit of a ball ache, to be honest. But hopefully the game itself will be worthwhile and they get everything organised and get themselves back on even footing with Nexon and are actually able to promote the game properly. We'll see what comes of that in the coming months and years, no doubt. The only other news I really want to talk about is the state of my streaming experience at the minute. Obviously, I've been dabbling a bit with Kick and Twitch and trying to carry on my YouTube as well, which I didn't want to lose track of because I've actually started making okay ground on there, albeit it's still a bit quiet, but it seems to be the one platform I'm getting most interaction from. I did get affiliate on Kick through various support and things like that, just to give it a go and see what it's all about. But as it stands, I'm not that convinced at the minute. But I'll persevere and try and see what else comes of that. In similar news, obviously, a platform I used to use and which I still hold dear really in some aspects is a platform called Glimish. A lot of people might not have heard of it. Basically, it was its own standalone platform. It's wanted to be like a community-driven one, so there's a lot of the community members actually create parts of the website and the actual running of it. The idea was for it to be sort of transparent. Everything's there for people to use. They can add into it. And at the minute, it's in alpha, but they did announce recently that it's going to be going into beta soon. But they didn't actually state any dates or any other information, what the changes are going to include, what it's all about. The latest we heard was these tweets here saying who's ready for some data peaks, and then all they really said was the first leak is they're gonna sort of do a bit house keep, really, letting you toggle on and off different parts of the website, as in if you use it, so your site doesn't show things that you don't really want it to if you're not using them, things like stream loots and donations and things like that. It's up to you if you want to display those on your page. So it's basically just housekeeping. There's no real major changes on, no real news as to what's actually happening there. I will be keeping an eye on it because, like I said, I wouldn't mind going back there, but at the minute there's just no real user base, and it's a bit of a shame because it was good when it first launched. I've sort of been on and off it from launch, and it was quite a pleasant place, to be honest. But a lot of it was just follow for follow. Everybody on there was a streamer. There was no real viewers as such, unless you bring your own, which a lot of people sort of struggle to do because of the lack of features as such at the time in comparison to the likes of Twitch's app and things like that. But yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on that. I may make a return at some point down the line, but we'll certainly ponder that and see what happens in the meantime with the other platforms. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at now. I hope you've enjoyed this sort of little video as such. This insight into what I'm interested in and the news I've sort of been keeping an eye on. Hope you found it interesting. If you have, please leave your feedback in the comments below, or any other sort of feedback is welcome. I do appreciate any help with regards to streaming and creating videos and things like that. It's something I'm relatively new to, despite being around these sites for a while. I've never really focused as such, but I'm trying to do more of that at the minute. So yeah, I'd like to see some feedback and just sort of let us know how I'm doing, basically. So I look forward to that. In the meantime, make sure you sub and ring the bell for further alerts for further content. As in when I go live, I do live stream, as I said, normally from around 10 o'clock UK time. If you want to pop by and have a chat about anything you've seen here or anything on my channel in general. And I look forward to seeing you then. And I shall catch you later. Thanks a lot. Bye.